It's issue 3 of Imposter Syndrome. Previously, we saw that Starline has put some of his preparations in motion, manipulating his two creations, Surge the Tenrec with electric powers, and Kitsunami the Fennec with water-based hydrokinesis. But both Surge and Kid are starting to get a little wise to the fact that they've been manipulated and controlled, and are looking into their origin as we speak. What will they find out? And how deep and dark do the good doctor's machinations truly go? Join me as I take a trip through Imposter Syndrome. It's funny too, because right now, as I'm reading it, there's rain and lightning outside, so like a literal storm. So it's like channeling the powers of Surge and Kit. Such a good atmosphere for this. Got a pretty interesting cover with Starline battling against Metal Sonic. Imposter Syndrome with story by Ian Flynn, art by Thomas Rosslinberger, and Mario Fonseca. Okay, so two people working on art for this one. Colors by Valentina Pinto, letters by Sean Lee, editor Riley Farmer, and David Moriarty. Okay, more of Starline's video logs, which have this weird tendency to be his downfall every time. Like, you think he would have learned from bad guys, but then again, I don't think he realized that the betrayal came from the fact that Mimic found his video logs. Okay, let's see. I guess this is right after he was thrown through the warp portal back during the end of the Metal Virus saga. He says, Dr. Eggman rejected me. I worked so hard to help him, and he robs me, has me thrown into the wilderness. If he won't accept my help, he'll be made to see. Also, this file is called SON1CO Sonic number 258? Wonder what that's a reference to. Almost like the original comics. If he won't accept my help, he'll be made to see. See this frame I prototyped? It's revolutionary. I was going to show him the concept, but now I'll give him a live display. And it'll run rings around Metal Sonic, whatever it turns out to be. No sloppily constructed badniks, no over-specialized vanity projects. Yes, that means you, Metal Sonic. Ooh, throwing shade. But a versatile, robust, superior creation. He is frothing mad. A lover scorned. And now we're over to file B40GU7, bad guy, 048. And Starline is a little bit more put together. This is after the events of Bad Guys. Introspection and revision. Two things my idol lacks. Two things I must embrace to surpass him. My time with Zavik and the others opened my eyes. My initial plans were short-sighted. All the power and obedience of a machine means nothing in the chaotic and unpredictable world I'm trying to control. I need the will and ingenuity of a living being. I need to take my initial design and fuse them. Dr. Eggman has spent all this time inserting animals into his robots when the solution was the other way around. So, Ian made this joke that the way Surge and Kit were kind of created, when he got notes back from SEGA on how they should be constructed, he kind of realized that it is kind of like the Android saga, where the doctor kidnapped two kids, inserted them with mechanical parts. Essentially, it created cyborgs, even though they're called androids. So yeah, like Starline said, he's just like, whereas Eggman was kidnapping animals and putting them into robots, Starline essentially kidnapped Mobians and inserted robotics within them. But it seems like it's more through a process almost like Wolverine's adamantium or something. Wild. Surge and Kit are watching all of this, and they don't seem to be reacting to it that much. Surge says snootily, "Sweet Gaia below, does this guy ever shut up?" And Kit says, "Do you want me to log out?" Surge says, ignoring the questions, "No, you did good hacking into Starline's files. Keep digging, I want more details." Kit continues saying, "Searching. His archives are extensive." Surge exasperated says, "Being a mad scientist wasn't bad enough. He had to be a wannabe influencer too." Jeez. Ian never used that word again. Kit says, "At least we now know how he enhanced us. Should we really be going behind his back like this?" And Surge says, "When I want your opinion, I'll give it to you. Now, more deets, now." Kit says, "Yes, ma'am. I think I found something. I'm not sure what this file is in a reference to. It says POS or PO5 757 H44. Starline in the recording says, "The cybernetic enhancements have taken. My base models are complete. Now comes the specialization. I have assembled all the necessary ingredients to emulate the biomechanical miracles of my adversaries and install them into my cybernetic enforcers." So it looks like he took data and elements from metals, Neo Metal, Sonic, and Shadow, the power cores, as well as some of Tails. And then he says, "Emulated, but not replicated. Subject Kitsunami will need external support. Subject Surge will need electromagnetic propulsion. But I'm aiming to improve upon things, not maintain the status quo. But that much power must be kept under control. Once again, I look to Dr. Eggman for inspiration. I acquired the programming of one of his more unorthodox creations. With her, I had the means of fabricating a personality, or rather, overriding existing one." That's where Bell came into play. "My creations will think what I want them to think, want what I desire them to want, be who I want them to be. And as a failsafe, they've been made especially prone to my hypnotic gear, just in case they need realignment." What a joke. Oh, see, that's the one that sets off Surge. Like, literally brainwashing children. And you see his sessions with the two of them, his sessions with Surge. "You hate Sonic. You want to destroy Sonic." And then she says, "I hate Sonic. I want to destroy Sonic." And for Kit, it's, "You live to support Surge. You will do anything for her." And he says, "Live for Surge. Do anything." And wow. He does that after a bunch of sessions. For Surge, it took 232 sessions to get her to where she is now. And while he's asking her, now that her personality has been realigned, "And what of the world-renowned hero Sonic?" Surge says, "Psst, I hate that jerk. I'll wipe my shoes on his grave after I put him in it." And for Kit, it only took 33 sessions. And he says, "And what of your partner Surge?" Kit says, "I'll look out for her. No matter what, I'll do anything for her. Where is she? Can I see her now?" This is kinda icky. Like, this is legitimately kinda icky. So Starline continues on with his report. "So I had to repurpose the resilience of the metal virus into safe cellular upgrades to supplement the enhancement cybernetic. Surge and Kitsunami are exceedingly resilient physically, but..." Insert file footage here. Yeah, so you see her running through dangerous and more dangerous situations where she pretty much almost dies. And one day she kind of loses it and shouts at Starlight, holding him up, "I'm not running it again. You want your data? You run it." I know that's right. You see a lot of instances of Kit just barely managing to get through some of his own obstacles. And during one session, you got Starline screaming at him while he's in a fetal position. "Surge is starting her run right now. What are you doing here?" And Kit just says, "I'm so sorry." And then Starline continues his report. "An unforeseen necessity for the hypnotic vulnerability has been dealing with the psychological trauma. Gotta love how he just makes psychological trauma seem like a minor inconvenience. Gee, got a moment where it looks like Surge was just utterly destroyed by badniks. You got a moment where Kit ran out of water to keep himself aloft, plummeting several feet to the ground. You got a moment with Surge just losing her mind. It's a whole bunch of traumatic situations. And since Starline, just smiling, says, I can't erase their memories entirely. They're learning, improving. So with each revival, I must suppress and edit. It's tedious, but they're making progress. What's the expression? No pain, no gain? Hopefully they'll be ready for field testing soon. So he just put them in situations where they essentially died and came back, just like a video game. Jeez, Ian, that's really kind of dark, man. That's really kind of fucked. Kit's just exasperated. Surge is losing her shit. Surge grabs a hold of Kit and says, okay, look up. But Kit's just, he's done. Like, can we please stop? I don't want to know anymore. Like, Surge says, look up who we are. Kit says, what? Surge says, you heard him. We're cyborgs. He put stuff in us, but he didn't make us. So who were we? Volunteers? Kidnapped? Heroes? Convicts? How were we before this? And Kit looks and says, there's no record. Surge doesn't take that well. She says, he makes a vlog of what he made for breakfast. Look harder. The Kit, nervous, says, I did. It's not in there. And Surge says, why not? And Starline, entering with his hypno glove, with his tricore, says, because it's irrelevant. It's past your bedtime, children. And Surge says, it's not irrelevant. I need context. If I have no past, all I have is this. And this is nothing. I'm nobody. I'm just a knockoff. Everything I want, that I think I want, it's a lie. And Starline just says so matter-of-factly, oh, Surge, we keep having this conversation, and it always ends the same way. Whew. Yep. Starline he's just as bad as Finitivus was. Like, seriously. Just the cold, uncaring nature, the lack of empathy for any other living being. Just nothing but the job. Dang. But Surge covers her eyes and says, no, not again. Kit, get him! And Kit, like a man possessed, goes raging in on Starline. Water tendrils whipping at him, but Starline takes his electro stun spurs and strikes at one of Kit's water tendrils, shocking him. Kit goes down, but Surge goes into an electrified spin dash. Starline activates his tricore for the power, managing to just barely block her attack. But Surge knows the downfall of the tricore, as she says, gotta pick one flavor off your tricore at a time, Doc. You want power or speed? As she goes in with an electrified kick to Starline. And as she goes in for a strike, she says, too bad you built me for both. But Starline, using his flight ability, manages to fly around the scaffolding that they're on and strike Surge from behind with his stun spur. And as Kit goes down groggy, Starline gets ready to rewrite her mind again, saying, I've invested too much into you, but I will punish you further if necessary. But Surge says, you moron, as she gets up and grabs Starline, saying, first, you made me heal real fast, and second, you forgot about Kit, as Kit takes Starline into his tendrils as Surge removes Starline's tricore glove. The Starline shouts, no! Oh snap. Surge takes the glove and puts it on, saying to Kit, hold him. Starline, panicking, says, don't do this. I'm the only one who knows your past. The only one who can maintain your enhancement. I built you for a higher purpose. We will And before he can finish, Kit takes his head and uses the tricore hypno glove and tells him, "Shut up!" And with that, Starline collapses into the ground in a hypnotic state. Kit, not knowing what to do next, says, "So, now what?" Surge, wiping the tears from her eyes from the grief and anger and frustration, says, Now, we burn it all down. Sonic, Eggman, every idiot that follows either of them, we end it all. No more heroes. Villains, nothing. If we don't get a past, they don't get a future. Just angry at the world at this point. And Kit simply says, "Okay, how?" Surge, stomping on Starline's head, says, "Don't know, don't care. Maybe I'll start wearing off the treads on his brain." And Kit, very coldly, honestly, like, he has this cold, dead expression on his face. I gotta love it. He says, "I won't stop you. May I offer an idea first?" And Surge says, "You're supposed to be the smart one. Let's hear it." Kit says, "Starline was already planning to bring everyone together. We could use his plan up to a point, then take it in our own direction, destroy Sonic and Tails as planned, and go on to destroy the Doctors too." I love how, there's this shadow that slowly creeps more and more across Kit's eyes, the more cold and calculating he sounds. It's a simple plan. And then he just comes back to reality in his subservient nature and says, "If that's okay with you, ma'am." Kit's got his own darkness, but it looks like that's okay by Surge, as she's got her usual sneer on, as she says, "Let the doc go to all this trouble just to set himself up for the fall. I can work with that." And then, next thing you know, Starline is waking up, saying, "What was it? Where am I?" And he wakes up to find Surge and Kit loafing around. He looks over at the monitor like he was reviewing footage. And he says, "What?" Surge simply says, "You finally awake, Doc? Pretty sad you put yourself to sleep with your own monologue." And Starline, obviously confused, says, "My own?" Surge says, "You were filling us in on the details on how you made us. Pre-mission prep or some nonsense. I wasn't paying full attention." Starline says, "I did?" Surge says, "Sure did." Starline says, "And you're fine with this?" Surge says, in a very mocking manner, "Well, if I wasn't before, I'm pretty sure you wiped that out of my brain." I love the way Kit looks as he's just sitting there, as Surge is just playing it up. She says, "You made us powerhouses. Who am I to complain? All I have to do is get a lifetime of hero worship." All I have to do to get a lifetime of hero worship is dust some ego-driven jerk, right? Easy sell. Kit's cool with it too, right, kiddo?" Says, "Yes, ma'am." And she says, "He is because I say he is." And he says, "Yes, ma'am." And Starline says, "Well then, good. I'm glad we're past that milestone. I really ought to stick to my schedule if I'm working myself to exhaustion like that, though." And Surge and Kit smile to each other, knowing their plan has worked. And Surge says, "Now that we've got the boring stuff out of the way, what's the plan, boss?" And Starline, accessing the terminal, says, "Well, why not? I seem to have caught a second wind. I'll be brief, though. I don't want this headache to escalate. As the restoration focuses on rebuilding, so too did Dr. Eggman. We'll be invading his new capital city, which is where I'll upload my override program." And Surge says, "Scramble the Eggman with his own bots? Love it." Starline turns to her, disagreeing. "No. We are to pacify Dr. Eggman. Sonic and Tails are our only terminal target." Surge shrugs and says, "My bad." And Starline continues on, "Our activities there will undoubtedly grab the attention of the heroes and lure them in. The badniks will be sufficient for ancillary support, freeing you two up to focus on what you were made for. Since you've separated and concentrated your targets, you will strike with all the ferocity and with zero remorse." Looks like that's the plan, as it's pretty obvious Surge and Kit have decided that the best dish will be saved for last. And what is that dish? Starline's head served up on a silver platter. Oof. Now this is some classic Ian Flynn. The cold nature of the villain shining through. Villains ready to betray each other at a moment's notice. It's Ian. Like, this is his bread and butter. And I find it so fascinating, too. The idea of Surge and Kit still wanting to go through with the plan. Because, to a certain degree, while Starline is the cause of all of this, for all they know, they don't have a past. So why not just steal the life that Sonic and Tails have? Go through with the plan. Become the heroes. And take all the glory. Why not? Eliminate Sonic, Tails, Eggman, Starline. Most of the problems are dealt with at that point. And Starline getting his own comeuppance, as he usually does. I don't know how I feel how about Starline and his vlogs essentially always being his downfall for the most part, but he's just too up his own ass to just see around any of this. So it's pretty on brand. But, man, he was just intense. Man, Starline is scum. Like, I thought he was scum before, but he is scum. Because while it is essentially the story of androids 17 and 18, aka Lapis and Lazuli, we never actually found out the details of what Gero did to them. That's the thing. We never saw any aspects of the process. We saw Starline brainwashing them, reconfiguring them, putting them through deadly situations where they essentially did die and were resurrected. It's really kind of sick when you think about it. It's some next level sick. Feels almost reminiscent of Eggman back in the Archie days, when he was at his most devastatingly devious. Oof. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about what Starline did to Surge and Kit? And are you shocked that they're still going along with the plan? Or do you think Starline simply unleashed the evil that was already there? I gotta admit, it's a little bit more fun that way. But let me know what you think is going to happen next. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe. That way you don't miss out on the next one. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.